So guys, welcome to Rydeus-The channel. Our channel is about assisting you in becoming unstoppable as you move towards the improved life that you have envisioned for yourself, your own vision of success, whatever that is for you. The means by which we do that is we ask you for questions and we attempt to answer your questions with our video. And today's question, well, it's not necessarily a question, it's a comment that was made that some people behave in ways that make their relationship worse, even if one partner is trying, the other partner may be making things worse. We try to talk about that in today's video. Now, before I get into that, I want to say thank you to all my subscribers. I know I have 3 sets of persons who are subscribing to this channel. One person that I asked to subscribe and they're just doing it simply because I asked them to. And there's a second set that they're getting value from the videos. They tuned into the channel and they're getting value from the videos and they are return viewers. So they subscribed by virtue of that. And there's a third set of persons viewing right now. Maybe you are on the channel for the very first time. Maybe you never really considered subscribing. I want to invite you to subscribe right now. Just click the subscribe button and look forward to 2 personal development videos or 3 personal development videos every week. So if you're not subscribed, please do. An important announcement I want to make. I want to say thank you as well to my son who has been using his iPhone and taping our videos for the past maybe 5 or 6 weeks. But I just got myself my own iPhone, so I'm going to be doing some taping for myself. I had a S6 Edge for about 7 years now, and it was doing very good. I had no problem at all with it, but it fell in the bathroom and the glass broke, and as a result of that I had to buy a new phone. I'm not the kind of person that would buy a phone simply because it's in style, but I bought a phone and I'm going to be doing some videos on my own going forward. So we have that to look forward to. That's an important announcement. So let's try and answer today's question. Now, one of the first things that you have to do to avoid problems in your relationship is not rush into a relationship. Be clear on the reasons that you're getting into a relationship. Be clear on the person that you're carrying into a relationship. The person that you are, be clear on that person that you're carrying into a relationship, and be clear on the person that you're inviting into a relationship with you. If you don't do that, you could actually start problems in your relationship. Ask yourself, who am I? Who is this individual that I'm carrying into a relationship? Am I the kind of individual who is going into a relationship simply because I am needy and I want somebody to take care of me? Am I the kind of individual who is going into a relationship simply because I was in a previous relationship and I'm damaged and I'm hurt and I need somebody to help treat with that hurt? Or this person would just be a rebound for me? If you're behaving in those ways, you're gonna get yourself in some difficulty. Work on yourself. Be patient with yourself. Develop yourself. Make sure you're bringing something to the table, and make sure the person that you're inviting into a relationship with you is also bringing something to the table. Make sure they are not damaged persons on the rebound. Make sure they are not persons who are simply attracted to superficial features. Maybe you're good looking, maybe you're bright, maybe you have a best shape. Make sure it's not somebody who's just superficial. Make sure it's someone who is looking for a partner to build and grow and have a long-term relationship, or for the very least, make sure it's someone who they are looking for the same things that you are looking for, that you're inviting and bringing into a relationship with you. If you don't do that, you're likely to create some problems. I know a lot of us, we prefer to be in a relationship even if the relationship is unhappy, and that's not the best thing. Take your time. Relationship's not running anywhere. Be patient before getting into a relationship. Now, all relationships would have conflicts. Conflicts are mainly a disagreement between 2 individuals. So conflicts, as I indicated, are not necessarily bad because they may be the catalyst, or they may be the baseline from which improved relationships could stem. So problems are not that bad. What may be bad may be the way that we respond to conflicts or our approach to treating with conflicts. And we're going to talk about 4 responses to conflict in this video. Response number 1 is that you have a passive response. And a passive response is less than what is called for in the situation. So your partner does something and you decide, you know what, I'm not even going to have a conversation about that. I'm just going to let that be. That's a passive response. Maybe there's something that you should be confronted, and if you just leave it there, things can become worse. So that's a passive response. You may not necessarily want to do that. And the second response could be an aggressive response, which is more than what is called for in the situation. So your partner does something and you blow things out of proportion. You're extremely angry, you're shouting, you're yelling, you're name calling, you're tensing your muscles, tensing your face, you want to fight, you want to be physical with the individual. That's an aggressive response, more than what is called for in the situation. Good? You have to decide, am I behaving in an aggressive manner to things that I could simply have a conversation about? A third response is a passive-aggressive response. And a passive-aggressive response is essentially disguised hostility. So you're looking at a kind of disguised way to get even with your partner. Let me give you an example. You decide you're going to sleep on the couch and you're not going to sleep on the bed because you're vexed with your partner. You're not confronting the issues, you just decide, I'm going to sleep on the couch. Another example could be silent treatment. I'm just not going to say anything, I'm just going to stay quiet. So what's wrong with you? And you just decide to stay quiet, silent treatment. Or another way is that you could use sarcasm. So you might be asked a simple question was like, for example, how was your day? And you may respond by saying, why you don't tell me how was your day? So you're not confronting the issue, but you're being passive aggressive. Now, there may be value in being passive aggressive because you can draw attention to an issue indirectly and your partner could get the point. But of course, if that's your sole means of approach, you may want to question to what extent you are, which brings us to the 4th response, assertive. The 4th response we talk about is an assertive response, and that is exactly what is called for in this situation. I am the kind of individual who's assertive enough to confront the issue without necessarily being confrontational with the individual. Could I be that kind of assertive individual? Now, we can make things worse by being passive. We can make things worse by being aggressive. We can make things worse by being passive aggressive. And we can also make things worse by being assertive, but there's a reduced likelihood in that regard. And that's the best means of treating with some of the conflicts or some of the problems. Let's talk real quickly about approaches to treating with conflict. Now, there are 5 approaches we talk about in this video. 1, avoidance. So my approach to treating with conflict is to avoid it. Let me give an example that I often give. Let's say you're a guy and your wife is a member of a gym and she's a member of a spin class within the gym, and she comes and say to you that every Friday my friends and I would be going to ladies' night out. Now, you don't want her to go, but you decide, you know what, I don't want any conflict, I'm just going to avoid it, so I'm going to say nothing. I'm going to be passive about it. So you avoided the situation and you just allowed her to go ladies' night out every Friday. Now, that's a win-lose option without raising the issue. So she wins, you lose, and you didn't raise the issue. That's a weak position to take. A second approach to treating with conflict is accommodation. So your wife comes to you and says, every Friday my girls and I will going ladies' night out. But you don't want her to go. So you say to her, I don't want you to go ladies' night out every Friday. And she says, well, it's my girlfriends and I, and it's just stress release, or we want to go. And you decide, you know what? I am going to accommodate her. I don't want her to go, but I'm willing to accommodate it. And accommodation is also a win-lose strategy. She wins, you lose, but at least you had a conversation about it. You raised it. You're satisfied that you raised it. You had a conversation about it, and you decide, you know what, I'm going to accommodate the fact that she wants to go. That's the second approach. So is there something that you should be avoiding, that you behave differently towards? Is there something that you should be accommodating, that you behave differently towards? A third approach would be compromise. So she says to you every Friday she wants to go, and you say, guess what, let's make a compromise. You're going to go every first and third Friday, and you're going to spend every second and fourth Friday with me. So she agrees. So you made a compromise, and a compromise is, well, it's defined as a lose-lose strategy where both parties are comfortable. So she wants to go 4 Fridays. You want her to stay with you 4 Fridays, but you lose 2 Fridays, she loses 2 Fridays, and she gets to go 2, you get to have her for 2 Fridays. That's a compromise, and you guys are happy with that. The fourth approach is domination. So you make the decision, clearly you're not going ladies' night out. And she said, well, I am going ladies' night out because I am going with my friends. And you say, well, you're not going because this is my house, and if you go, you're not going to get back in. Oh, I pay for your spin class, I pay for your gym, I pay for your ladies' night out, and I'm not allowing you to go. I'm the head of the house, and I'm not allowing you to go. And you dominate the situation. But when you dominate the situation, she builds up resentment towards you, and she holds that in mind. And let's say, for example, you have the opportunity to leave the country for a month on training with your organization. What do you think she would do? She would go ladies' night out perhaps every night. Okay? So you dominate the situation, and perhaps she's going to have long-term resentment to that, and that is likely to make things worse. And then there's another approach which is called collaboration. And in terms of collaboration, you actually you collaborate in terms of treating with the situation. You raise your fears and your concerns. She raises her needs and her interests, and you look at each other's needs and interests, fears and concerns, and try to solve the situation. So let's look at the whole ladies' night out. So I'm going ladies' night out with my friends every Friday, and you say to her, I don't want you to go. And she said, well, you know what? I really need this kind of stress release from time to time. I just have this interest in hanging out with my friends occasionally. And you say, well, she could say to you, what are your fears? What are your concerns? And you would probably say, my concern is that some other guy you may be flirting with some other guy who may take you away from me, and you're the best thing that ever happened to me, and I don't want that to happen. That might be a fear, that might be a concern that you're having. And she could perhaps say to you, well, guess what? The best decision I ever made was being with you. So I'm 100% sure you have absolutely nothing to worry about in that regard. And simple like that, she could go her ladies' night out every Friday, and you could stay home and relax and sleep because you express your fears and concerns, and she express her needs and interests, and you guys are happy with each other. Obviously, I know it's not as simple as that. But those are 5 approaches to treating with conflict. You now have to ask yourself, knowing that conflicts are inevitable, knowing that conflicts would always come up, you have to ask yourself, am I behaving in a way that makes things worse? Or am I behaving in a way where I can learn from what is happening here and take my relationship to a whole new level? So the question was asked, why do some people behave in ways that make things worse in their relationship, notwithstanding some persons are trying to get things right? And I attempted to answer that question by using research related to conflict. I hope I was able to do justice to that question. So if you're not subscribed, do so now. Like this video if you got value. Share this video if you think anybody can benefit from it. And see you in the next video.